And now we hand over to Elena Alexandrovna Oganova.
Good day, dear friends. It's very exciting to sit next to a living legend. Sincerely, you are a treasure. That is for us, for our world, for humanity. We truly thank you from the bottom of our hearts for your work. You are with us.
I will speak in Russian, although, of course, I would like to in Turkish, but I hope that Liza will translate everything I would like to say. Maria Mikhailovna, will give you a little spoiler about the plot, but I want to say this just so you don't get upset, and definitely, those who haven't bought the book yet, make sure you buy it. Because, honestly speaking, it is one of the best books I've read recently, and we read a lot. We read all the works of contemporary Turkish authors, and I'm incredibly glad that on our horizon, in our literature, translated into Russian, new novels, the novels of Mr. Zülfü have appeared. I want to remind you that there was previously a wonderful novel, My Brother's Story. The novella is also very interesting, very unusual. Some have read it, I see, right? Who hasn't read it, do read it. And just last year, a wonderful translation of the novel Restlessness came out. The novels all seem heavy, but Zülfü Bey's amazing genius lies in the fact that with all the heaviness and even the unbearable tragedy of the events described, incredible tragedy, when you finish and close the book, you feel a surge of strength, inspiration, and belief that everything will definitely be fine. That's what I believe can be made accessible only by a genius, a brilliant person who, with the most ordinary words, the words that we speak, can us with us to create such incredible metamorphoses. This is just a general observation. Also, by the way, just the other day, I accidentally read an article in the newspaper Oxygen that another novel by Zülfü Bey, Eye of the Viper. By the way, our translator Liza Borikzaya wrote her master's thesis on this novel. So you see, everything is interconnected with us, just like in Zülfü Bey's novels, everything in an amazing way, intertwined. So this novel, The Eye of the Viper, made it onto the list of the 100 most famous and recommended books for reading of the last century, from 1925 to 2025. Alongside Borges, Marquez, and other greatest writers, this novel holds the most deserving place. I very much hope that I am now addressing above all I really hope that this novel will also be translated by the publishing house. And now a few literally brief remarks. I was sternly told to be very brief, so a few literally brief remarks about the novel. He truly captivates from the first to the last minute, and you cannot yourself hold back, and you read it in every available place and position until you reach the final page. And I want to say that even on the last page, you will find a very unusual ending, a very big surprise, completely unexpected. Separately, I would like to mention the wonderful Russian translation of this novel. It is done magnificently. Unfortunately, the translator could not come today. This is our colleague Sabina Sayrazedinova from the Linguistic University Institute, who actually teaches literary translation. And I think that in this novel, she just showed her students that what literary translation should be like. You will read it and not stumble over a single word, and you won't feel that it's a translated novel. This is the most important merit of a translator, to be invisible to the reader. What else would I like to note? The book is full of unusual observations, legends, stories, tales of real people about real people. And I made notes of a lot of quotes from this book, but the organizers allowed me to read only a few quotes, just the ones that really touched my heart. But believe me, on every page you can find such quotes, literally on every page. This is, like a book of life, in a concentrated form, a book of wisdom that we can all be guided by in our lives, besides the wonderful plot, drama, dynamics of feelings. These moments are also very interesting there. So regarding the unusual observations that caught my eye in the book, for example, look, from description. She had a head that was small in relation to her body, like all Rumelians. Rumelians are the inhabitants of the European part of the Ottoman Empire, which made her look visually taller. Such European proportions were also found in Wagner. Here's the main character Maria Mikhailovna talked about. In Anatolia, most people have hairs that are on the contrary large, so they look lower than they actually are. You know, when I read this, I think really, how can one notice such a thing? In my opinion, it's just brilliantly. Or say the for example, there are a lot of sketches from Turkey. A special address to everyone. We have many students here today who are interested in Turkey. A magnificent portrait of modern Turkey in all its smallest details. For example, look, God bless you, she said and crossed herself. There you have Istanbul, I thought, a Muslim prayer and an Orthodox sign of the cross. In this city of prayers, religions, cultures have long intertwined. A croissant? And I can't even make any comment, find a single remark in the text regarding Turkology, since we ourselves are Turkologists. It is about one Soviet person for whom such a note is made in the text. Arkady Vasilyevich clearly studied in Moscow with an elderly Turkologist. He spoke in a very old-fashioned way. We all know this because there was even a term, Soviet Turkish, with old words and slightly old grammatical forms. And when we see this, we understand that Zülfü Bey not only knows that in Russia they speak Turkish language, but also how they speak and why they speak that way. You see, to dig into such deep details, such mastery can only be achieved by someone like Zülfü Bey. These notes are on every page, believe me. The book will teach you a lot and provide a lot of information. It is truly intellectual reading. Besides this delicate topic of the Second World War, the Jewish genocide, it simply makes you think about many things. I was trying to formulate the essence of what this book is about, and it seems to me that the main thing is that it is about that people may not be what they seem to you. Always remember this. This is wonderfully, uniquely, very subtly shown in this novel, and events that you think are a certain way might have entirely different cause and effect relationships and other conclusions. And in a global sense, this book is about the fight against prejudices. This is what I think will help all of us, specifically in each of our lives and generally in our world. Because unfortunately, many troubles and sorrows in our world stem from people simply being prejudiced against each other. To a friend. And lastly, apologies for taking up your time. I must mention the extraordinary empathy of Mr. Zülfü. We know that empathy is a feeling everyone should ideally possess. But I think without empathy, no artist as prominent as Zülfü Bey can simply write their novel. I noticed many things that testify to Zülfü Bey's extraordinary empathy. I will give just two of the most illustrative examples. Maya Duran preparing to attend a reception at the British Embassy. Went to the hairdresser and they gave her a bun on her head, lifting her hair high up. And since she always wore her hair long, it seemed to her as if she were naked. She had an unpleasant feeling in the area of her neck and shoulders. That's how Zülfü Bey, not having long hair, never styling it that way, how can such a remark be made? You understand? And then it is mentioned that she put on her grandmother's necklace and it somehow helped her feel more secure. And the second example, you know, I was just amazed. I even set the book aside at that moment. The moment Maya Duran is going to America, as Maria Mikhailovna has already spoiled for us, but it doesn't matter anyway, and she thinks about her flowers. And what does Maya do? She puts her flowers in a basin with water so that the flowers don't wither. Tell me, how can a man know that when someone leaves home for a long time, they must put flowers in a basin with water? How could he? Remember that Maya has several plants that could wither, so to prevent these plants from withering, she placed them in a basin of water. Friends, I wish all of you the same genuine enjoyment, pleasure from
books that we received. And let's keep waiting and asking our maestro for more and our esteemed publishing house for more and more wonderful translations of these works because they make us all better. Thank you for your attention.